Girl,
I'm
I was
horrible.
like, I said, I don't know, it's her anniversary, so I was like, is somebody else gonna go live?
Right, I just heard you say that. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I was like, I don't want to interrupt. I was like, we could have rescheduled. It's her anniversary.
Right, I'm horrible. I'm like when I agreed on the date, I didn't even realize like, oh, whoops.
I know, and I was like, when I seen it too, I was like, she definitely could have told me another day.
Yes, I'm horrible. But hey, we're here and we're doing it. My husband's good. Everybody's settled. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, right.
Oh, thank
Happy
you.
anniversary.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, so before we begin, do you mind taking a few deep breaths with me?
Oh, I need it.
Okay. So I know we normally do like 3, and I close my eyes. You don't have to close your eyes, but okay.
I'm down.
Breathe in and out, and in and out. One more in and out.
Okay.
I find it like that's why we were just talking on the IG. So you came on like I love my watch because it always says like don't forget to breathe. So I was like,
Exactly.
So first, can you tell everyone about yourself and like your journey into education?
Sure. Let me close this door.
I'm going to pause the music.
Okay, hi everybody. So, I've been teaching for about 8 years. I grew up in the Poconos, so I commuted to Philly. It was about a 3-hour drive, crazy me. But I started commuting, and then I found my apartment about a few months later, like 6 months. So I live in Philly now, a little bit outside of Philly actually, but I started with pre-K and I taught first grade for about 6 years. So I'm still teaching first grade. That's my heart. And yeah, that's about it.
No, you were in Philly. We'll definitely have to connect. I'm in Maryland. Well, I'm in Maryland now. Okay, so you told us a little bit about your journey into education, and like, of course, the purpose of these conversations is to see how we balance self-care with teaching, because like as teachers, we give so much of ourselves. So there's many different types of self-care. Like, what does self-care mean to you?
So for me, I thought about it and I realized that I am like the environment is for me. Like I just have to be in a clean space and just it just has to flow for me. So if my area is not clean, I have to clean it up, have to make it smell good and everything, or I'll just want to go outside and get the fresh air from there. I like to get out of the city. Like I said, I went to the Poconos for just a staycation, so I like to go back to the Poconos. I don't like to stay there and live there, but it is definitely a nice vacation spot. So environment, I need to be in a nice, cool, calm environment, and that is just self-care for me.
Yeah, I noticed that like I get like so frustrated with my environment. It's like cluttered because they always say like a cluttered mind. Well, cluttered environment leads to a cluttered mind. Like even today, I was like cleaning up stuff, and I felt so much better. And I'm just like, oh, I should do that. And so, of course, like being educators formally, do you implement like self-care in your classroom, and like what does that look like?
Yes. So we do, well, when we were in person, especially after lunch and recess, they would come in. So I would have the lights off and I'll do a Go Noodle video, but it was always just a breathing exercise first. So they expected it and then they came to love it because some of my boys at first was like, what the hell is this? Like bunny breath? So, you know, they swear they're too cool for all of it, but yeah, they need that mindfulness, just calm down, breath, and get ready for learning again because we don't have that much time, unfortunately.
Yes, I love Go Noodle. And so, like,
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, for me, like, self-care is, like, watching TV. Because, honestly, I barely watch TV. Like, it's funny because my dad jokes about me, like, my TV's on, like, idle, you know, like, when it goes to sleep. And it's been that way for, like, 2 weeks now. Like, I might watch something on my phone, but I hardly ever watch TV. Like, do you watch TV? And, like, what are you currently, like, binging?
So I just got back into TV because for the past few months, like I was just like on the computer creating the TPT stuff, like that had my whole brain just going and flowing. So once I'm in that creative mode, I'm like, I don't really watch TV. Like you said, I might have it in the background, like I have a TV in my office, but I'll just have it in the background playing, but I'm not really watching anything. But for me, TV right now is reality shows. Like it'll just be a getaway for me, something that is like something funny I want to laugh at. So I'll watch like 90 Day Fiancé, Married at First Sight, like just different stuff that's like, whoa, crazy. Get me out of my head for a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I noticed, like, that's why lately I've been implementing it because, like, even if it's just like a episode, like, I'm literally not worried about anything else. So I'm like, as much as I haven't really watched it that much, I do try to like watch something. So like, I like The Shy, and I've just started getting into it. But I watch it on my phone, so I still don't even really touch my TV like that. But like, it's so,
Okay, I never heard of that.
it's so good. Oh my gosh! And everyone tells me I have to go back to the first and second season because it's on the third season. But
Yeah,
it's so good.
you just started in the middle.
Yeah, that's what everyone was like, because it's like season 3, and they're on like
Wow.
they're like on episode 9. So technically, I've seen every episode of season 3, and everyone's like, you have to go back to season 1 and 2. But then I'm thinking like, that's a lot of episodes, and I don't even watch TV. So when I'm gonna watch those?
Right. True.
So also like before you got on here, I had Corinne Bailey Ray playing, and I play her when we do these, and I love her anyway. So like I find it peaceful to like listen to music, especially when I'm like trying to like meditate and just like to work. Like, what type of music do you listen to? And like, what type of music maybe that you listen to when you want to calm down?
Yeah, I like to listen to a lot of cool, chill voices. It's the women voices for me. So Sabrina Claudio, I love her. I love Kosh Page. Um, who else? I don't know. I just like anything cool, sultry. Like it'll be new artists that I don't even know, but I'll find their song. I'm like, ooh. So then I'll discover them from a song that I like. But I'll listen to just about anything that's like calm. And then of course, I love my Megan Thee Stallion too.
Yes,
So.
of course.
Yes, complete opposite, but yeah.
Yes. It was like, I love Lil Wayne. Like, no one can ever tell me anything bad about him. Like, I love Lil Wayne. He could do no wrong. That's like,
Yeah.
that's like and you know how people have like crushes? Like, he's like my only crush.
Oh, that's too funny.
Like,
Lil Wayne, wow.
I literally, like, I love gospel
cool.
music, soul music, but I love Lil Wayne. I also like The Baby, but yeah.
Yeah, I like The Baby too.
And also, so we talked about TV shows, music. Is like reading a stress reliever for you? And like, what's the last book you read, or like, what's a book that you currently are reading for pleasure, not for school?
Oh my gosh, I was just about to say that. I'm like, I haven't read a book for pleasure in a long time. Like, I usually read like self-help books or like marketing books. Like, I like money books, stuff like that. So I always read for information or self-help for me. Right now I'm reading something called Uncloned. It's written by Audria Richmond. And so she's just like a marketing guru. So I love the way she speaks. So I'm reading her book right now.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been having to make a priority to read because, like, especially like, well, on Tuesday will be a year that I graduated my master's, and like I just started reading again because thank you, because I'm like, I had to read so much stuff in grad school. I'm like, I don't want to read nothing else for myself.
Right.
Yes, but I agree. It definitely has to be like self-help, finance, business, something like that. So, okay, we're going to like circle back into the classroom. The next one is like, what's advice that you would offer like a first year teacher or a teacher who's like having difficulty balancing self-care?
Oh yeah. So honestly, I'm like been there. Like my first year was horrible. I was like the maintenance crew was always kicking me out. Like he's just like, okay, like it's time to go because I'm leaving. I'm locking up now. I'm like, oh wow. So I feel like they probably hear all the time, but you do have to just figure out when you can let go because you're not gonna get it all done. Like honestly, still to this day, I'm 6 years into first grade, and I feel like I still have goals that I want to achieve. Like, there's still things I want to work on. So as long as you're in this profession and you choose to be in it for a long time, just know that you have time to grow. So just pick one goal that you really want to work on for the year, maybe two goals if you're like really ambitious, but work on those goals and just stick to it and figure out what steps you need to take to reach them instead of just going all over the place. Because when you try to get everything done, you realize, okay, I got nothing done. Like, you might have a bunch of things halfway done, but not one thing completely finished. So, yeah.
I love that. And so, like, speaking of giving advice to others, is there like a mantra or affirmation that you repeat to yourself?
I don't have one specific one, but I made it an intentional goal this year to stop talking negative to myself. So when I do have those thoughts of like, oh my God, I can't do this, or I'm such a procrastinator, I call myself these things all the time, and I think like, oh, nothing of it. But those are negative words that you're putting on your spirit and on your personality, and it's like, I'm just like, oh, actually, I can do this. I'm gonna do this, or it's like, I need to learn how to do this, whatever. Like, I just try to change those words into a positive outcome instead of I can't or I am this. I don't want to label myself anymore. So just positive talking, just retraining my vocabulary.
I love that, like combating negative self-talk. That is so great. And so, of course, like rounding up, like there is this thing that you should have, like a self-care kit. So do you have a self-care kit, like your go-to? And it's funny because I, like, even when I was preparing for our session, I started writing down mine because I think I need to refresh it for the year. So is there like your go-to self-care kit, like for different areas of your self-care? Do you have one of those?
Right. I love that because I never heard of that before you. So I'm like, I love that idea. And I thought about it. Honestly, the first thing I always go to is just getting out of my space. Like I said, environment is big for me. So I go outside. Like, as long as I can get outside, it's a nice day, it's a perfect time. So I'll just go for a walk. Like, I love just having that alone time. I'm introverted, even though I don't want to say I don't want to label myself, but I do have an introverted spirit, and it's like I love to just have that time by myself and just be out in nature because I realize I do like nature for some reason, but yeah.
Oh yes, we'll have to go. We'll have to find a hike in between Maryland and Philly. So we can go.
I see your hiking pictures. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so jealous. That's stuff that I used to do like as a teenager, like with some of my friends, because like I said, I was in the Poconos. So we used to be outside and doing stuff. But now that I'm in the city, I don't really do too much, but I have to,
we
get
can
out
go.
there.
It's funny because, like, I was born and raised in Baltimore, but I went to college in Florida and then grad school in Colorado. So I started hiking in Colorado. And even when I went hiking, my coworkers took me, and I'm like, what do y'all got me out here doing? But I enjoy it. Like, I like being outside. So when I moved back home, I started looking up, because, of course, like teaching in Colorado, I taught my students in fourth grade last year. They taught and learned about the 50 states and the mountains. And we learned about the mountains on the East Coast. And I'm like, you know what? I'm teaching them, and I didn't really know about the mountains on the East Coast. So when I moved back here, I was like, I have to start hiking. So I've gone to 2 trails in Maryland. I went to 1 in Virginia, 2 in Virginia. So I've gone to 2 in Virginia, 2 in Maryland, and 1 in Pennsylvania. It's funny because I was in Pennsylvania yesterday, but it was just really quick. So I'm down because, especially before the weather gets bad, I'm like, I need to be out.
Be outside and take advantage. I love that.
Well, of course, like, I want to keep the conversations like really short and sweet. So this is the time where you plug in like anything you have going on. I know you have your Teacher Pay Teacher store, so just let everyone know like things that you have going on.
Yes, definitely. So I'm like big on digital products and stuff, especially since we're going digital. I've always been big on digital products. So I have a bunch of that for like primary students in my TPT store. And also I help newbies or anyone who like has some products in their store or you're got slow sales. Hit me up in my DMs, or you can click the link in my bio, join, sign up for um, my email list because definitely have a lot of tips going out there. Follow my hashtag Toney TPT tips, and you'll see all my tips there. So just hop on the train because I got a lot of things coming, and you don't want to miss it.
Yes, and I'll put all of her. That's why I write when I'm doing the interviews. So I'm going to write most of the things that she said in the caption on this post when it posts on the page. But make sure you guys follow her at Toney and First. And I just want to thank you for being my guest. And I want to thank you all for
Yes.
tuning in. Remember, like, self-care is not selfish. You cannot give from an empty vessel. As cliche as that sounds, it is so true. So make sure you take care of yourself first and service others from the overflow. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Thank you, Toney, and happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. And I want to say, keep doing what you're doing. You have a beautiful spirit. And ever since I started following you, I'm like, you got me going outside and being more intentional. So thank you so much. I love it.
Yes. Bye.
All right, see you.